All of you are almost or recently graduated. Congratulations, this is a huge achievement. But now what? Now the time has come for you to decide what your next step is going to be. And that can be challenging, because what kind of job do you want? At what kind of company do you want to work? A big company with a lot of rules and guidelines? Or a smaller company where you have to figure out yourself how things work? What should your work-life balance look like? Do you want to work full-time? How much traveling do you want to do? Do you want to work from home or at the office? And in what sector do you want to work? Commercial, non-profit, government maybe? These are all questions that you will be faced with. And that can be challenging. So, what are your options? You can change jobs a couple of times for a couple of years to try and figure out yourself what suits you best. But chances are that you will stay within your comfort zone and that you will keep ending up with the same kind of job or the same kind of company. You can also choose to do a traineeship at one of the larger, well-known companies in the Netherlands. And you will, of course, gain a lot of experience within that company. And you will probably get a job offer there after your traineeship. But how do you know if that job and that company is really the best option for you? You haven't compared it to any others. Well, that is where the X-Lead program comes in.
I'll just share why we started this program actually 2 years ago. We are working at the Corporate Innovation Department of the TU Delft. And there we actually have a lot of conversations with a lot of companies, and they always tell us that they are looking for top tech talent from, well, technical universities, of course, with an entrepreneurial mindset and the skills to drive innovation. But they all said, you are always telling us that you have so many talented people graduated from technical university, but we don't see them in our company. They don't even think of us when they've graduated. And when we talk about this topic, what talent are we really talking about? And then it's actually the talent that dares to experiment by putting a foot in the unknown and trying to make sense of that unknown. And therefore, those people are able to drive innovation that makes impact. Well, what we've experienced is that in discussion with these companies and young talent, of course, because we did not only create this program with our partners, but also with talented people, the young talent we are currently recruiting, we believe that this is a leading topic in an ever-changing world. And that is actually why we designed the X-Lead program. We say we offer you experience in different companies, and we also try to support you in these experiences. So you start in the Let's Start Up phase, which actually is the first 6 months of our traineeship at a startup or a field lab. And then you experience what it's like to work at a company without much structure yet. You get the opportunity to get to know your strengths even better, also your pitfalls, of course, and how to effectively to put your skills into practice. You also gain insight in your energy givers and takers. And as you can see with our development program, we actually focus on personal development in this first 6 months. So we try to support you professionally and personal development with this program. Well, then we say, okay, you go to the next phase, which is the level up phase. So we actually level up. You are going to your first innovation project at a corporate. So you're going to work on strategic innovation at a corporate. What is it like? And can you put your insights from the startup environment, can you transfer them to the corporate environment? How can you use your strengths effectively in this environment, which is obviously totally different. Our trainees will tell you more about it later on. And then, of course, the focus in the program shifts from who are you to who are you in relation to the other. Well, after these 6 months, you've experienced both contexts, and you probably already have a kind of a idea what context you prefer. But then you go to the last corporate project, because we want you to give also multiple experience at multiple companies and corporates in different branches. So we challenge you in that way. And we actually also challenge you to see how you can innovate in these different contexts. And how can you use both learning experience and even put your strengths into work more effectively in this last project. Well, after this phase, we believe you are able to determine what step you want to take next. So you are able to see what environment suits you best, what kind of strategic innovation projects suit you best, and you are able to create your own new horizon. Well, like I already mentioned, with our development program, we try to support you with this. You can see also on the screen, it says Lead, Engineer, Accelerate, Disrupt, and that's actually the 4 pillars in which we give you and support you with training. So you get courses and coaching sessions on personal leadership, so you can enlarge your impact as a young professional. You get relevant training on consultancy skills from one of our partners, which is Roland Berger. You also obviously get training on key tech developments, which the TU Delft provides on themes such as robotics and ethics in design, but also AI and big data. And last but not least, of course, why you joined the program, training on innovation skills. Themes as agility, creative thinking, design thinking, so we really try to challenge you there also on your design or on your innovation skills. But this is a selection of our partners. Well, this is currently actually the list of the corporates who are in the program right now, and we aim to grow with the program, so also this list will grow. And well, you can probably meet most of our partners in the last phase of our recruiting, which is a recruitment event, and then we'll have speed dates with our partners, but we'll discuss that later on.
Exactly. Well, in XLead, we believe that the most important tools in finding a job are your skills and mindset. And that is why we match the skills of our trainees to the innovation projects of our partners. So how does this matching process look like? Well, it all starts with an innovation project, which is defined by our partners. We will share this project definition with the trainees, and at the same time we will share the resumes of the trainees with the partners. Based on that, both trainees and partners share their preferences for matching interviews. Based on those preferences, Marlies and I will set up individual matching interviews, which will take place during our online matching event. After the matching event, both partners and trainees get to update their preferences and hand in their final top choices. Well, and based on those final top choices and using our unique insights into the project descriptions, the companies and the ambitions of our trainees, we will make the best possible match for all parties involved. And we aim to match everyone to a top 5 choice. And I can share that up till now, we have been able to match everyone to a top 3 choice. So we are really happy with that. And matching based on skills instead of educational background can sometimes give us surprising results. And I have some examples of that. I will start with Donald, who is also sitting over here at the front. Donald studied at Industrial Design Engineering, and he obtained a master's degree in integrated product design. Donald did his startup project at Nostics, which is a company in the nanotechnology sector, and they make rapid diagnostics available for anyone in the world. Well, Donald got to use his design skills to optimize the test kit, the usability of the test kit, I must say. And he got out of his comfort zone by going into the lab and pipetting samples, which is, of course, not something you do at IDE. Another example that I have for you is Barbara. And Barbara did her bachelor's at the University of Groningen, where she obtained a degree in chemical engineering. And after that, she decided to move to Delft to study at the Faculty of Technology, Policy and Management, where she obtained a master's in Management of Technology. Barbara did her startup project at Isospace, which is a small satellite company. And the proposition of her project was to set up a satellite as a service for emission monitoring. Well, studying chemical engineering and management of technology and then ending up at the satellite company, well, that's not the first thing you would think of. And the last example that I have for you is Siddharth. Siddharth has a master's in aerospace engineering, and he too did his startup project at Isospace. Well, in this case, of course, studying aerospace engineering, working at a satellite company, not that surprising. But for Siddharth, the surprise came when we made the first match for the first corporate project, and he's now working at Rabobank Carbon Bank. He uses satellite data to help the bank determine how their customers in the agriculture sector can reduce their CO2 emission. Well, being an aerospace engineer at a bank, I wouldn't have thought of it. But within Exceed, it is possible. As long as your skills match the project, you can work at any kind of company.
Well, now you've heard some examples, and I think you're probably curious, who are we looking for here today? Like I already said, we are looking for this top tech talent with an entrepreneurial mindset and skills to drive innovation, who are actually able to make a meaningful impact. So, what we're looking in as a profile is that you have a natural curiosity. So you have to be interested, broadly interested, and also, of course, in innovation. A growth mindset and a positive attitude, because you have to be focused on solution-based thinking, because, as you might already know, innovation can be pretty hard sometimes to drive, and you have to push through. That's why we also you have to have perseverance and authenticity, because we think that creates the most diverse group of trainees. You have to be resilient, you have to be able to handle pressure, and a team player who understands the value of collaboration, because, you cannot drive innovation on your own. What do we offer? Well, you can probably see already on the slide some good working conditions. A 1.5-year contract, you have the experience at a startup and a corporate, a tailor-made development program, the salary, important as well. But besides these good working conditions, what benefits do you actually get out of this program? When you're done within a 1.5 years, what does it really do for you? Well, we offer a unique experience at both a startup and a corporate, and this contributes to your personal development. Not only to your personal development, but also gives you insight into what environment suits you best. And the fact that you actually can experience that in 1.5 years at 3 different companies, I think that's quite unique. This prepares you for your next step. So with our program, we can actually say that we can help you and give insight into what a suitable next step could be for your future career. We offer you a network of partners whom all want to offer you a job after you're done. To be honest, actually, some of our current trainees, already got job offers. And I think they thought the partners were actually joking, but I think they were pretty sincere about it. And, well, this is our 2nd year that we're doing this, so what are the concrete results from our first year? We started out with six trainees, and 3 of them are actually working at our partner companies. And 2 of them are actually currently working at Rabobank, and one is a product owner and an innovation lead. So, well, we're looking forward to having more of those success stories. And now we've shared what the X-Lead program is. Maybe you could share what the selection process looks like?
Yes, absolutely. That's the last thing we want to share with you right now before we hand over to our trainees, Tejas and Sven, to give you a little insight in their experiences. Last thing to share, this is the selection process. The application deadline is December 12th. So make sure to send in your resume, your motivation, of course, and your diploma or transcript of record before December 12th. After the application deadline, we start with the first selection. We do that based on your CVs and motivation. We will inform you about the result of this first selection before Christmas on December 22. Then we go on holiday, prepare ourselves for the next round, and you will also have to prepare for the next round if you get through. Because if you proceed to the next round, you will get an invitation for a personality assessment by HFM, and you can complete this assessment within 30 minutes. The result will be a personal talent profile with your competences, personality, and insight in your learning agility. And during the interview round, the selection committee will ask you questions regarding your talent profile and, of course, your motivation. On January 17, we will inform you about the outcome of the interview round. If you then advance to the last round, you will participate in our recruitment event with partners. At this event, you will meet a selection of our partners and your fellow candidates. Next to speed dates with our partners, we will also test your agility with a game. Well, and then it's time for us to make the final selection. And on January 26, we will offer 18 candidates a job as an XD trainee. Do you have any questions? Online audience? Oh,
Sure.
Yeah. Donald, can you?
Nice.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question. How many people do apply in the beginning and how many get through in the end?
Well, we can only say for now what the result was last year. So we had 70 applications, and then we had 35 interviews. And to the last round were 20 trainees or 20 applicants for 10 trainee positions.
Yeah.
And it might be interesting to also tell that at the recruitment event was really nice to see that after this event, the people who didn't get an offer to become a trainee, we connected them with some of our partners, and they're actually working currently. One of those people is working at Rabobank as well. So she didn't start out as an XD trainee, but she did get a job at one of the other partners. And there are 4 other examples of people who also got a job through the recruitment event.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Nathalie?
Is it possible to have multiple trainees within your company?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
we already have some partners who have 2 trainees at the moment. But if you want 5, no, that may be a bit exaggerated. But yes, it's
Yes,
definitely
it's
possible to have
Okay,
more
cool.
trainees at one company. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
We got a question from the online audience.
Yes.
Is there a case interview as well?
Well, there's not really a case interview, but we do have a kind of similar case question in the interview.
And another question, is the recruiting event online as well?
Well, last year we had to, of course, because of the lockdown. And well, we obviously hope that we don't have to do it this year again. But yeah, well, we'll see what end of January looks like. But then if we have to, we'll do it online
If
again.
we have to, we can.
And we already did it, so it was quite successful.
Yeah.
What is defined as a technical master?
Yeah, good, tricky question. Well, any master degree, of course, from a technical university. But we also aim to have a diverse group of trainees. So if you've done math or anything in Leiden, then it's also, you also, get to the requirements. So it's, I'm not sure if anyone who's asking the question has an example. The reason why she, I think, is asking the question. Oh, nutrition and health. Oh, at the Burg,
Wageningen,
yes.
yeah, that's, yeah. If there aren't any questions at this moment, you can always ask them later, but if there aren't any at this moment, then we will give the stage to Sven.
I'm going to tell a bit about my X-Lead journey so far, and most of it is going to be about my startup period. So first a bit about me, what my background is, about my time at the startup I worked at, which was the Green Basilisk. What did I gain and learn during that experience, and a short piece about my current assignment at the corporate. So about me, hi. I studied strategic product design at Industrial Design, and I graduated last April. I also studied for a year in Rotterdam, which was management of innovation. And yeah, in general, I get really enthusiastic about new business models, working with tech, and also I'm really interested in how do you organize ideas, how do you make ideas come to fruition and not get them killed early on, which is something that often happens. And yeah, something I'm always fascinated about is how startups are able to disrupt entire industries with corporates that have been around there for years. So about my startup, the Green Basilisk. A short introduction on them. They make an additive for concrete, which was a surprise for me as well. And it gives it self-healing properties. So what happens is concrete tends to crack in general. And then water enters in these cracks, and this can like corrode the steel inside it. But the cool thing about their product is that when water touches it, the bacteria in there start to produce limestone. So they autonomously fill up these cracks, and that makes the building need less maintenance, and in turn makes the building more environmental friendly. So for me, the project was about developing a calculation method that showed these benefits and to quantify it. In that way, it would be easier for the company to bring this product to market. And I also helped them a bit with their marketing by developing landing pages and to improve their overall website. And well, how did it go? Well, first of all, I knew nothing about concrete and civil engineering, so I really had to dive deep into this kind of stuff and on life cycle assessments. But the cool thing was that from I think week 2, I was able to actually bring value to the company, and they would use my insights in their decision making, which was cool. I also talked to a lot of experts, PhDers, professors, did a lot of research myself. And just trying stuff out in Excel, and also trying to build an app around it. So they kind of looked like this, which was kind of dry and boring maybe, but it was kind of cool that once you actually have something that works, people get really excited about it. And then the results of it was, now I've actually created an app for this that the company actually uses when they try to talk to possible clients. And with this app, they can show the different compositions of the concrete, one without and one with their product, and then they can show the benefits of it. I won't go too far into detail about that. So that's really cool. They're actually using the stuff that I made there. Then my second goal was actually a bit more marketing focused. That was more closely related to my studies at Industrial Design. And yeah, I co-developed 4 landing pages, so a bit more strategic. As in, here we try to put different value propositions on these pages. So yeah, trying to tackle different problems and see what catches on. Well, this is the page that holds these 4 pages, and this is an example of the first image you see of one of those pages. So what did I gain and learn during my time there? Well, I thoroughly enjoyed working there because, well, first off, I was like, okay, concrete and building stuff. What am I going to do here as an industrial designer? But I really felt part of a team. It was like only 10 people, and yeah, also very smart people. These were like PhDers or civil engineers, and you get to learn the ins and outs of an industry that you might not have thought about working in before. And yeah, it's kind of also interesting to see how the world works, I guess. And well, I became kind of an expert a bit on this topic in a very short amount of time, and it gave me a kind of a confidence boost. So now I don't feel as scared anymore if I don't know something beforehand. So then briefly about my period at Cofre, which is a corporate. They're active all around the world. It's like the polar opposite of the startup, so that's also cool that you make this switch in such a short amount of time. They're active in all these different industries: fashion, real estate, private equity, and Cofre is like the holding that sits above it. And there I'm actually working on a much more strategic role. So looking at the organization, how can we make all of these companies that are inside the holding work together more instead of them being inside their silos, thinking of an innovation process, those kind of things. But I'm also learning hard skills and working with Power BI to build dashboards such as this one, to help them make well-informed business decisions. So yeah, like I said, corporate is very different. There are, first of all, way more people that you have to deal with and work with, which is also actually very interesting because all of these people have different studies, backgrounds, experiences. And you also enter an entire new culture for you. So I think it's a cool experience so far. I'm very happy at Kofra. And also this assignment is a bit more tied to my own background, so I feel a bit more comfortable here. And well, that's me. Thanks for your attention. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can come to me or send me an email or via LinkedIn. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Sven, for your presentation. Well, unfortunately, I don't have presentation. I'm just going to talk freely with you guys as if you're coming to me and asking me about my experience. Then I wouldn't come up with a laptop and say, hey. So yeah, and first also thank you to Marlis and Ramona for giving such amazing information about XLead. I think you guys already know what is coming through. So I'll just say a little bit about myself. So I'm Tejas Khedekar. I'm originally from Mumbai, India. And I did my bachelor's in civil engineering, and later I decided that I need to do master's. So I came to TU Delft to learn construction management and engineering. When I first saw XLead, I was like, where will construction management and engineering will fit here? But actually, in my master's study, I learned a lot of managerial skill sets. So I was like, okay, this looks like a good fit for me. And also, none of my relationships last more than 6 months. So I was like, yes, XLead is perfect. No, the last part was a joke. Last one lasted for 7 months. When I was asked to say about XLead in 5 minutes, it was really difficult because there are a lot of examples and instances where I can say that it helped me personally a lot. We have mentors, we have workshops, we have free therapy sessions also. My fellow trainees will accept that. And we have a community of trainees where we meet bi-weekly and we just share our experiences and learning to each other. And the best part is that we also teach each other. So I've learned a lot from IDE guys about designing. So the best part about this whole experience for me is how short the feedback loop is, which is of 6 months. From my previous experiences at work, I believe that if you need to know an organization, find your role, understand the whole, how everything works, how communication works, how to find yourself where you can give impact, this lasts more than a year or maybe 2 years. And what XLead helped me to do was to shorten that whole experience and cram it into 6 months. Now, this is daunting and challenging, but it also allows you to gives you a diverse experience. And as a young professional who's just starting out, it was the best thing for me. Moreover, we also start with a development portfolio at the start of each period. This you do it with your mentor at the partners and also with Marlis and Ramona, where you, so this 6 months gives, there is a tight guideline to this 6 months, which allows you to go back and revisit this development portfolio every 2 months, so you stick to your development goals. And at the end of my experience up until now at XLead, I can say that XLead has helped me to understand myself more. I know what are my likes and my dislikes in my professional life and also in my personal life. I've understood more about myself, about my own style of working. And I can now communicate the same with my team and can then efficiently become a productive asset for the company I'm working in. So, if I have to say, my last takeaway is that if you need to understand more about yourself, I think XLead is the best thing for you. And if you have any questions, you can ask me now. Thank you.
Okay, are you ready? You've already warmed up, of course, and I think you are ready for it as well, eh? Yeah? Okay, great, Adriaan. Then I'll start with you. Because why did Rabobank join the XLead program?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. Maybe to start off, Rabobank is, most of you know, a big corporate. In the headquarters, there's 6,000 people working there. We've got traineeships ourselves, so that's a good question. And I think the basic answer is being part of Rabobank, we're looking for talented people always, and the average age within Rabo is higher than people just graduating. So if you're in this startup environment within a corporate, you're looking for the best pool of talented people. And currently 2 trainees are working at Rabobank, and I think the entrepreneurial skills, the design thinking, the assumption mapping, those are skills that normally are not part of the whole group of Rabobank working. So that's the entrepreneurial part. And I think the second part, and that goes for Rabobank itself.
Because maybe I'm not sure if anyone knows what the Rabobank is. Maybe you can elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, sure. Maybe that's a good way to start. So Rabobank started just over a year ago. And with the farmer based are the clients we have, we are looking to make climate impact and grow a better world together. And that means also developing propositions, for example, to generate carbon credits and store carbon in soil or in trees, and help really farmers in getting a new business model live, because also that helps the Rabobank portfolio and to a more sustainable world. And if you look at the people graduating now, so the ones currently in the program, or you guys here in the room or joining online, are most of the times looking to make an impact. And if that's climate impact, I think Rabobank is a nice place to go to. So that's why I think Rabo joined, to have people interested in making change and having an impact.
Okay, before we go on, because I have more questions about that, I just want to ask Donald, maybe you can share what you're actually doing right now at the Rabobank. Because how do you make an impact, like Adriaan says?
Yeah, so we're looking at a proposition where we looking how we can capture a lot of CO2, carbon dioxide, at large scale at farmers in Brazil. So that's a totally different market. I have no experience with farmers, agriculture in general, or Brazil. But we're looking like, what are their main problems? And we do this by interviewing them and contacting local parties, NGOs, and see how can we help these farmers getting more resilient to climate change as well.
Okay, thanks. Well, then I'm curious, of course, Nathalie, why did you join with Nostics?
Yeah, Nostics is a startup. We're founded in April 2020, so right in the COVID period, which obviously gave us some challenges. But we also were founded in that period because our product is related to the whole pandemic situation we're in. At Nostics, we're developing tests and diagnostics to democratize diagnostics for everyone. So basically our shortest slogan we have right now is a lab everywhere. And that means that you can have labs in hospitals where they can do lots of diagnostics, tests for bacteria, for viruses. But what if there was just a simple station, a toolkit, a test, where you can have it everywhere? So you can have it in each country in the world, especially the third world countries where diagnostics is not so good as here in our civil world. But also really reliable and fast tests, leading to the point where we are now, where we have a 3-minute test kit for COVID. with a 98% accuracy. So
Nice. Where can we get
that's-
this?
It's we're selling it now, so have a look at the website and
good.
We're focusing on companies, on organizations, but it's on the market now, and we're developing way more for viruses and bacteria. But what we do is we combine nanotechnology with machine learning, with biotechnology, and that's quite complex. So joining the X-Lead program, coming back to your question, is related to that. We're not just looking for one profile, one type of person to join us Nostics, but we're looking for bright, smart people that want to contribute to changing the world and changing in this pandemic. And the X-Lead program offers, besides very bright students, also the training program that definitely helps in developing themselves.
Nice. Thanks. Well, I'm curious, Adriaan. What have you learned from Donald, which is obviously working now at Rabobank so far?
Yeah, there's actually two main things. And one of them is the team comes first. And no matter if you're working on climate change, macroeconomics, nanotechnology, the team comes first. And what you see is that whenever there's happy team members, that means that trust and commitment comes from a fun place to work. And I think that is key to what he taught me, actually, or reminded me of. And the other thing is that once you have a certain focus, no matter whether you're corporate innovation or startup innovation, is what you do is you want to have laser focus. And that means that you're content driven. But the fact that should not be underestimated is the social side of things, and especially working from home in this COVID-19 and lockdowns that there are, or intelligent lockdowns. That means also having a virtual coffee. So that's something Donald and I also discussed to introduce into the team. So that's also experimenting ourselves. And I think that's something not to forget, that there's a social aspect, and I think that is really critical to teamwork.
Nice. Tejas, what have you learned at Gradient?
So firstly, Gradient, a little bit about them. They make a digital twin for district heating networks so that the heating losses are as small as possible, and that contributes to sustainable district heating networks. And my best experience at Gradient are also the scary ones. I mean, in general, all best experiences of human life are the scary ones. Maybe it's skydiving or having a ride at Efteling, maybe. I was constantly put out of my comfort zone because I had to learn Python and QGIS in a very short amount of time. But big kudos to team at Gradient who helped me in every fashion. They gave me space and patience for me to learn, and they just believed in me. And thanks to the team, I believed in myself. And this constant pushing out of comfort zone was scary at that point. But when I look back now, I think it was still best experience for me.
Nice. And what is the most significant difference between working at a startup and working at a corporate?
Yes, so I think obviously at startup there are less number of people than in corporate. So I think the biggest difference is how communication works within teams and within people in the organization. I think in corporate communication is a little tricky and different because you have to go through different levels of departments, organizations, rules. So I think that is the biggest difference, and I'm still figuring it out.
So what have you learned so far?
I've learned that you might have to talk to 10 people before you have to get some work done.
Yeah, that's the corporate experience then. Yeah. And what are you working on now at Nobian?
So at Nobian, Nobian is looking to innovation in their chemical industry plants. So there are 8 different industry plants at Nobian. And I am accelerating digital asset management and predictive maintenance programs at those sites. So I do proof of concept, case studies, and also make business cases for innovative ideas. Some of those innovative ideas maybe are not good in business case wise. So I do those studies and do those comparisons and present it to a steering committee who's looking forward to invest into innovative solutions.
Okay, and who are the people in that steering committee?
That's a great question. I have to present these business cases to directors, financial board, and it's a challenge. It's scary, but yes, I present it to the managing board.
Exciting.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's scary, daunting as well, but probably
Yes.
worth it.
Yeah, yes.
So, Sven, what was the most challenging about your project so far?
So far at Cofra, I feel like the social and political side of innovation are kind of challenging, also very interesting.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, it's similar to what Tejas also said, that you have to kind of figure a way to get where you want to go. So who do you need to convince? You have to really map out your stakeholders. Also, use your supervisors to your advantage, I would say. Those are the kind of things you have to take into account.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun to work in such a large organization, because you also, once you do get the go, you actually have the resources to do stuff.
Yeah.
So that's cool about it.
Yeah, I think it's a valid point. Learning to manage your manager.
Yeah,
It's,
definitely. Yeah.
always a challenge. And Nathalie, what was the most surprising for you about having a trainee?
Yeah, I think the most surprising part about having Donald in the team was that he was much more mature than we expected him to be. Of course, when people start at your company, just graduated, that they're young and they will have to learn a lot. But in quite some ways, it was the other way around. We learned a lot from Donald.
Oh, so what did you learn from Donald?
Well, for myself, I do HR within Nostics, so we didn't work that closely, but I've seen Donald working in the team. I've seen him leading meetings. I've seen him giving presentations several times, introducing new ways, new methods.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it was less inexperienced than you thought when he
Yes,
came around.
definitely.
And Sven, we talked already about Cofra, but what's your project assignment actually? What is your project assignment at Cofra?
Yeah, I talked a bit about it in my presentation, but it's based on two parts. So first off, I'm part of the strategy team inside Cofra, where we're looking at how can we make this big organization with all of these people that know a lot of stuff work together better. And to actually start up new ideas. How do we create those ideas and make sure that they don't get killed or they don't get picked up at all, which is a challenge a lot of corporates face. And I think Rabobank is actually has quite a good system working with it right now. But it's cool to work in such a strategic position. Whereas on the other side, I'm part of the data team, where I build dashboards based on the data that is being collected all over the company. And now it's not maybe not as well used as it could be. So using these dashboards, they can make faster business decisions, basically. Yeah.
Did you expect that when you started out as a trainee to do these kind of assignments?
No. Actually, I feel like I already have quite a large bit of responsibility. And I also feel like they actually do stuff with the things I say. So that's cool.
So
I'm not
that's
just an
nice.
intern that's getting coffee or something. So that's really nice.
You're actually making an impact.
Yeah.
I
feel
think
like
that's
so.
really cool to see as well, that with a lot of projects, our trainees are currently still using it at the startups. And I think that's also what we heard, of course,
Yes,
at your evaluation.
At Gradient, I made visuals, data visualizations, which they are trying to make it part of their product. Yeah.
They use it to attract new clients, right?
yes.
Yeah, that's super cool. So Nathalie, will you join again next year?
Yes, definitely. That's why I'm here.
Good.
Yeah.
Adriaan?
Yes. Sure.
Yes. Okay, Sven, Tejas, do you have any advice for the applicants? for the people participating
go
here
first?
today?
Yeah, sure. I'd say first of all, you have to be eager to learn, because you're probably going to be put inside a context where you maybe know nothing or very little about. So yeah, be willing to learn new stuff. Second, you have to be ready to get going. So it's quite a lot of work you have to do in 6 months. But yeah, in order to make your targets, you better prepare. But it's all good fun. So that's my last tip. I'd say have a lot of fun, because you get to see so many different contexts, meet so many different people in such a short amount of time, and you still have the freedom to go somewhere else after 6 months, which is something you probably won't have when you sign a contract for another traineeship or another job offer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that.
Cool. And I think my suggestion for them is that innovation is not just about tech and engineering. I think you will also agree it's about people. So do try to show where you have applied your people skills and soft skills, because the partners are looking for it. Yeah, because as engineers or technical master students, we are already smart enough. So also show us that you can convince people and have people skills. So would be nice to see that.
Yeah, maybe I think it's also very important that in the selection process, which is daunting, of course, but to show yourself. Who are you? We are looking for a diverse group of trainees, and that's also what we're selecting you on. So don't be afraid to show it. And if you are afraid, you can also mention it and just say, hey, it's really daunting for me to do this today, but I'm here doing it. That's all right.
That's cool.
To conclude, maybe you have questions for each other. If not, that's also okay. Then we'll just go to the drinks and we'll wrap it up. But I thought maybe, because I've been asking the questions, maybe you have some questions for...
We have question for you. How do you feel? How do you feel about the trainees after you select them and before you select them?
Well, I think it's amazing to see how you all grow in your learning experience, and that it's really, for me, a present to be at the evaluations. And it's always a challenge to make a match which everyone benefits. But I think it's super cool to see that when we made the match, you put in more work and that everyone's happy. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next couple of months with you. And of course, I'm also looking forward to the new group of trainees.